Hey, fabulous. Today we've really been privileged to speak with some of the most exciting and up and coming leaders that we have in our Jeunesse family. They are the people who is the heart and soul of our US global system all over the world. And this comes to the end of my part because I've taken way too long. I really wanted to finish this quickly so we can bring up the next part of the program for you today because we have a beautiful, beautiful lady who is sitting in Perth, Australia, who has really given her heart and soul to come up with the training that she's going to give us today. I know that she worked till the wee hours of the yesterday, not because she was too nervous, but because she really wanted to perfect it. And she is one determined lady who really wants to give only the best to us and to her team. Please join me to welcome our special trainer today, Beth Woolhouse from Perth, Australia. Hi, Beth.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Awesome. You don't look like you slept at 4 o'clock.
Thanks, Joanne. I try not to fall asleep.
Oh, well, in that case, we better get going. I'm going to hand over the mic to you, Beth. Take it away.
Okay, thanks so much for your webinar, Joanne. Thank you.
No problem. See you.
Okay. See you. So today we're going to do some training. I feel pretty excited about it because being part of this business means that, we're allowed to have a bit of fun. So the first part of our training, we are going to have a bit of fun. We're going to be talking about the types of people that we come across. But the second part of the training, we're going to get down to being a bit more serious. So I'm hoping, when you're staying online, you'll be able to have a look and watch, and maybe, you'll pick up something that will really help you, take your business to the next level. So let's get started. Just give me 1 minute to get up this PowerPoint. Okay, let's get going. Now, we've called it Know Your Apples. Now, I know that will sound a little bit weird, but from the very start, I want to say that, often at times you hear about people talking about people in certain ways. Sometimes they put them into colours. They can be red, yellow, and just sort of describes their personality. Sometimes they give them names like a sanguine, a melancholy, all sorts of ways that we sort of classify people. Now, we're not trying to put people into boxes because I truly believe that, if you want to educate yourself and learn and grow, no matter where you are, you can always change who you are. But just a simple overview and having a bit of fun, I'm just going to have a little talk about apples and how you need to know your apples. So let's get started. Everyone encounters 3 types of people. And we do. There are 3 types of people that we'll come across as we're going on doing this business. And they're called the red apples, the green apples, and the rotten apples. And by the photo next to them, it might give you a bit of a clue what these people are like. But why is this important? Understanding this concept is important in a way, in a general way, because when you understand what sort of a personality people are, it will mean it dictates to you what sort of time you might spend with those people. And you'll start to find when you talk to people, you might think, oh wow, they're really closed off. And you start to maybe take that a little bit personally. So by knowing this, it's going to help you to actually stay free of getting too involved in the process. And it makes your time a lot more productive, because if you know who you can work with and how to work with those people, it certainly helps you move through this business at a quicker pace. So what are the traits of the red apple? Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I didn't start off as a red apple. I really truly believe at some time in my life when I got worn out, run down, and totally in that situation where felt like I was a mouse on a wheel, I think I could have been what we'll call a rotten apple. But with time and with knowing that this isn't where I wanted to be, and I knew that deep down inside of me, there was a red apple. So for me, it was like I went through stages of my life where I think I went through each stage, a red apple, a green apple, and a rotten apple. I hate to say it. But you know what? The fact is that deep inside everyone, I think that there is a red apple. These are the type of people that you meet are positive. They're open, they're easygoing. You warm to them, you like them. There's something about them that really does set them apart. Often these people are quite driven people. They're actually always looking outside the box. They're looking for new ideas and they're looking for new opportunities. So in life, these are the type of people in a business that you would really love to attract. These are the type of people that you probably give about 80% of your time to, because these people are going to grow your business. The second is the traits of the green apple. You know, these people are fabulous people, but they like to ask you a lot of questions. They can be very analytical. It can be challenging to be around them. And they're the ones that raise a lot of objections. They're always asking you, but why? But why? I want to see evidence. I want to know. And, you know, we've got to learn that that's who they are. And often, and very often, green apples will sit on the sidelines and watch. They'll watch how you grow, and they can actually turn into what we call a red apple. And often with green apples, you know, I never ever dismiss them, but I always think, you know what, I'm going to give them about 20% of my time. You know, I'm just going to just sort of watch and just sort of see what happens with green apples. You know, I actually love them because they do tend to challenge you a little bit. And as long as you don't get into the banter with them, you know, you'll find that they're actually quite people that are challenging, but certainly don't give them more than about 20% of your time. Or the traits of the rotten apple. I know this person, I know this apple. You know, they're negative, you know, they drain your energy. They're quite closed, and they tend to steal your dreams. And what happens with rotten apples, and, you know, they're not even aware of this. And let's get this clear. A rotten apple doesn't mean they're a rotten person. They're far from that. You know, time, life, a lot of things may have caused them to put some walls up. They become a little bit skeptical. They may have been in this type of industry before and had a bad experience, or just life's got in the way. Things have happened to them that they didn't expect. So all of a sudden they've become a little bit negative, and, well, maybe a lot negative. And they actually maybe even don't like people having dreams either. So they can cause you to actually start losing sight of your own dreams. I don't like hanging around rotten apples for very long, because what I see happen to other people in my business, I see that when they hang around them too long and they're trying to convince them to become a red apple and trying to do a lot of convincing, that what actually happens to them is they start to lose their belief. They start to go downhill, and slowly but slowly they start to lose sight of their own dream. So just be aware of them. But always remember that even a rotten apple can turn into a green apple, can turn into a red apple. And you know what, personally, I hope they do. You know, I hope that we could show them something that actually could shift them. You know, so how do we communicate with a red apple? You know, when you meet a red apple, you'll know them. You'll know their characteristics. You know they're going to be bright, open. You know, they like fun. They like excitement. So when I'm presenting to a red apple, this is how I behave. You know, I'm excited. I'm honest with them. I have fun with them. You know, but you know what I always make sure also? I also make sure I have a sign-up form, because these are the type of people who are going to jump on board pretty well straight away. You know, they catch the vision. They see what you see, and they want to do it, and they want you to guide them through the process. Communicating with a green apple, you know, just be really, really careful, because the trouble with a green apple, they can want more and more and more information. And before you know it, you're trying to answer questions that you don't know the answer to. I'm very honest with green people. I actually often will say, you know what, I don't know the answer. You know what, someone else does though. I've got other experts. There's tools that I can direct you to. I can actually share with you. I can show you, you know, the answers that you are looking for. But I certainly do not get into convincing them. One thing I've learned in this business, if you start convincing people to get either onto the product, or you start trying to convince them to get into the business, you'll never stop trying to convince them. It's going to be a lifelong process. You'll have to convince them to get on webinars. You'll have to convince them to make a list. All the way you'll be convincing. And before you know it, they'll have drained your energy. Just be careful. Always direct them to the tools. Always answer their questions, and always be, you know, I always find with green people, if they ask me something, I get onto it straight away. You know, I answer that question, I send them the tool, I do it straight away, because they like to know that you're on the ball. This is part of their personality and their profile. Or the rotten apple, you know, as I said before, you know, don't waste time with them. You know, I always like to keep my posture. I never take anything personally. As I said, I'm always aware that there's something behind a rotten apple. Something has happened. So I never, ever take it personally. But I always have posture. And you know what, with rotten apples, don't let them turn you into a rotten apple. You know, when they're, you know, sometimes they can even be quite abusive and they're very sharp and short with you. You know what, I always leave a rotten apple on good terms. In other words, I will say something like, you know what, I don't think this is for you. You know what, it's not for everyone. But all I do know is that, you know, I'd love to catch up with a coffee with you sometime. You know, please don't think I've taken this personally. I haven't, because, you know, I would love to meet up with you at another time, not to talk business, just to talk about life. You know, so always end on that positive note with people like that. Always keep your posture, because the last thing you want to do is become a rotten person as well, because that's what a rotten person is expecting of you. They expect you to retaliate. They expect you to hurt you. They expect you to, you know, fall into a heap. Don't do that. Keep your posture and just say, you know what, I'm so glad we had this conversation. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. So the next step is your first 48 hours. You know, today we're getting a little bit more serious. We've talked about the apples and how that all works. So today we're going to get into a little bit of training. You know, what do you do now? And especially, okay, what happens when you find your red apple? What are you going to do with them? This is what happens in the first 48 hours. This is the most crucial time of our business. This is the time when someone is excited. They want to know more. They want you to show them everything. So this is the time where we don't overload them, but we give them the steps. We show them the way, and we show them that this is important. And we also let them be aware it's a little bit like an apprenticeship. You know, they're having to learn. Like anything, when you're getting to something new, it's an apprenticeship. And we're going to guide them step by step into their first 48 hours. So what do we do first? The first 4 things are we set goals with them. We make the list. We get them trained, and we plug them into the system. What does that look like, setting a goal? You know, goals are important, you know, because what a goal does, it actually gives people a purpose. I love goal setting. You know, to me, goal setting is like, I don't know what I'd do without it, because it keeps me on track. It keeps me on a purpose. You know, goals help to motivate you. They help you to stop procrastinating, because you know the time is short. So then you make good use of your time. You want to get things done. And so you find that you actually get into time management better. Everything changes when you set goals. And there's a known fact that the people who set goals do achieve success. So it's very, very important. If you're on the road to success, make sure that you set your goals. Okay, so what do we mean by be specific? This is really important, because I'm just going to give you an example of my own life. You know, we sponsor an orphanage in Uganda. And along the way, we've had enough money to be able to maybe buy them beds. We actually helped, you know, build the mud bricks, and we had a bit more money, so we were able to help put on the tin roof. But my goal, then we actually bought some mattresses, but I have a bigger vision. It costs actually $5,000 a month for that orphanage to run. So my goal is very, very clear. I need $5,000 a month, excess to what I earn for my family and for my own living, to pay for that orphanage. That's my goal. You know, it's not a wish. As you'll see on the side, if you have a goal, write it down. If you do not write it down, you do not have a goal, you only have a wish. My goal is $5,000 a month to support that Uganda orphanage, so they don't have to worry about doing that. So, you know, I'm very specific about that goal. It could be the house that you want to live in, the car you want to drive. You know, it could be your lifestyle. It could be that you want to stay home with your children. Your goal could be that you want to retire your husband. Be very specific about that goal. The more you know about the what, the why, the who, and the which, is going to help you make that goal, really detail that goal right down to what you want. Be clear about what you want and your why. Is it measurable? You know, for me, measurable means in the Jeunesse business, it means like, you know, what is your ranking? Do you want to jump a rank? Do you want to have so many cycles happening? How many people do you want to enroll this month? You know, set your goals. For me, when I first got into this business, I wanted to enroll 20 people in my first month. I set that goal for myself. I was excited. I was on fire. My upline had given me the goals. She'd given me the tools. I knew what I needed to do, and that I set my goal, you know, and it kept me very focused. It kept me very, you know, when you're focused and on track, you know, things can be done, because that's all you can focus on, and you do everything in your ability to reach that goal. So it has to be achievable. And by that, I mean, sometimes, we can actually be a bit naughty. I think we can actually set a goal that is way too low, because we know that we actually don't have to do anything. We don't actually have to get out of our comfort zone. So just make sure when you're setting that goal, don't be be a bit hard on yourself. Set yourself a goal that maybe that is out of your reach, but you know that if the work is done, that you can do it. I often at the end of a time of setting my goals, I often look back, and sometimes I'll be honest, I have missed a goal. But when I really look at why I missed it, and I do this, I examine what I did that I missed it, I realize that I didn't give it 100%. I think I can see that for a short time, I actually stepped back from it. I didn't focus on my why enough, and I actually didn't deserve to reach that goal because I actually hadn't given it my 100%. So, be aware and be a good judge of yourself. Don't come down heavy on yourself, but be aware that it's important to set a good goal that is achievable, but not too comfortable for you. Be realistic. This is really important. Give yourself the time, place, and what you can do it. Make sure the goal is realistic. Like, it would be a bit silly of me to say, next week I'm going to be a diamond. That's an unrealistic goal. That's not going to happen. The only thing that will happen is I get disappointed in myself and I could quit, because I think, oh, that's just too hard. So be realistic as well. Be time sensitive. It's very, very important that you don't set a goal that's too far out. Don't just set one goal, say, in 5 years' time, I want to be a diamond. That's too far out and you lose focus very, very quickly. Very, very important. I can't emphasize this enough. Is to set yourself, like I set myself a daily goal actually to achieve certain things. I set myself a weekly goal, I set myself a monthly goal, a 6-monthly goal, a year goal, and then a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year. But overall, my 5-year plan is what I've accumulated along the way. So just be aware that setting goals is very, very important. Being time sensitive is very important. Make sure you give yourself that time frame. And make sure it's a realistic one, it's achievable, and that you can measure it and be very, very specific in that goal. Making the list. Now, who do you know? Do you know that the average person knows a lot more people than they think they do? They said that some people, actually know 3,000 people. 3,000 people in their circle of influence. I mean, that's incredible. Majority of people probably do know between 300 and 400 people. So sometimes we actually have to help them trigger who they might know. They might need to go down to their cell phone. They might need to go on Facebook. There's also a little memory jogger there for you to help you remind you of who you might know. But I like people to make a list. And that's of 30 people. Their first 10 are their best. They're successful, the entrepreneurs, the well-connected, people who have a sphere of influence. Now, these people it's a little bit more tricky sometimes, because sometimes these people you feel like are outside your comfort zone. That's why you need to approach them, because often these people are time poor. They really are looking for something more. This is a little bit like the situation that I was in. From the outside to look at me, you probably would think I had it all together. On the inside, I was struggling. I was desperate. I was on a merry-go-round. I was looking for something. I was really searching. And someone, this is a gift that you're offering someone. Just remember that you're offering somebody a gift to change their life. It's not for everyone, and not everyone's going to jump on board. But be aware that even though people may look successful, have all those qualities that they think they wouldn't be interested, you never know. So don't dismiss anyone and don't prejudge anyone. The 10 easiest are the people that know you, like you, and trust you. These are the type of people that would jump on board under any circumstance. They say, I'm in, I'm doing it, I'm joining the journey with you. They get excited, whether that be on the product or whether that be for the business. They get excited, they're on board because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. They're your easiest. So you're not going outside your comfort zone with them. You're the people that you ring up, you ask them to come to your house, you ask them to look at a link, and they'll just do it. They're the fabulous people. They're your closest people. I just want to add one note here. Sometimes, your friends and your relatives can be your hardest critics. I just want to put that in there, because sometimes you think, oh, my sister, my brother, my close friend, sometimes they're the ones who actually say no to you. So just be aware of that. And that's why we talk about the rotten apples and letting people know that they're going to come across them, because you don't want to be crushed in your first 5 minutes of being in this business when you get 10 no's straight up. Just let them know that this business isn't for everyone. They are going to come across people. And in life, we have our good days and our bad days, our ups and our downs. And so, if they're aware of that, they're not going to get, quit when they get their first 10 no's. And, there are people out there who just want to make money. They might, it could be like me. They have a bigger mission. They have a bigger purpose. Once they've sort of looked after their own family and their own circumstances, they're looking beyond. And there are a lot of people out there who are wanting, more money. There's also a lot of people who are going into retirement without enough money. So all this slide is really saying to you is don't prejudge. Really, it's a good idea to make a list. And remember, this is a 48-hour list. So don't get stuck on, I only have to find 10, 10, 10. This is a 48-hour thing. So this is for your first 48 hours. And then comes along your next 48 hours. So then that's another 10, 10, 10. That's if you're, really wanting to grow this business quickly. Getting trained. Well, this is what I love about this business. You get into this business, you're not left on your own. We provide the training. It's UGS training, and it's there and it's available. Samson Lee, one of the double diamonds in the company, an amazing man, a former entrepreneur who owned his own businesses. He's come into this business and he's been so dynamic. He set up a new distributor orientation. Everyone who's new into this business must have a look at this. This is a must. This is a can do. This is one of those steps where you say, if you don't do this, we're not going any further type of step. This is a serious step because you don't want to be sitting there explaining everything to you. Samson explains it all to the new distributor. They get it all. They understand it. They see their back office. This is a must. Everyone should watch this, not just once, maybe even 2 or 3 times. Then we need them to subscribe to the UGS official channel. This is an amazing, amazing platform. This is a business where you can see how everyone is done, what people do, how they work their business, how they grow their business. That's in 4 stages. We have the prospecting, the getting started, the continuing education, and the leadership. Can you see the process? Can you see the steps? Because at first we're just trying to find people who want to join us. Then we need to get started. How do we get these people up and running? This is the 48-hour training. Then we need to continue our education. We need to grow more. We need to expand ourselves. And then we need to get into leadership. We know how to be, we have to learn how to be a great leader, how to help our team. As a leader, we need to develop new leaders. And this is what this training offers us. Very, very important, I can't emphasize this enough, is to get people to plug into the system. Events are belief builders. Events, when you get people to events, they see the big picture. If they had any doubts in their mind at all, an event will open up all the doors for them. These events are local, they're region, they're international. As you just heard, a lot of us are off to Jakarta for an international event there, for the launching of Jakarta, and there's some paradigm shift training. We're excited. There's going to be a room full of people, all with the same passion, all with the same belief system, all with the same belief in the products and the business. Can you imagine being surrounded with, 2,000, maybe more, plus positive-minded people who, have seen a vision and who want more. So this excites me. These events are something that is a must to get your people to. I like to sort of tell them about the events straight away and say, which one do you think you can attend? Also important to download Zoom. It's a very easy process. It's free. Once they download Zoom, it makes them able to, to plug into these webinars. But also Zoom is an amazing tool for 3-way calls. This is the beauty. This is the new technology. This is why Jeunesse is thriving in this economy, because of this download, these Zoom calls. So these 3-way calls are very important. Remember that we need an expert. An expert is anyone but you. Remember, we're talking about your family and friends. How they might not listen to you, but they may listen to someone else, another expert. So they may listen to someone who, when you tell them something, it'll go in one ear and out the other. But when someone else says something, they might just pick up on the vision and see it as well. So 3-way calls are a must. And remember, anyone is an expert other than you. Important to download the J Mobile. Now, this may seem to be very much an Australian thing. I get the understanding that it's not something that everyone is doing. And by all means, you don't have to do it. It's very optional. But in Australia, we do download our J Mobile. It's just like a bit of a back office on your phone. So all the things are on your back office on the phone. There's also what we call the video campaign and the SMS campaign, where you can actually send people a video. And when you send them a video, it could be Dr. Newman, it could be a bit about the business, it could be about instantly age, just like they're all different types of videos. You can send that video, and when the person receives that video, what they receive on their text message is all done by text. On their text message, they receive, check out this new, I think it's cutting edge technology. And for example, it could be the Dr. Newman 3-minute little video. And then underneath that, when they open it, they'll actually have a little space underneath the video, and it has your phone number that they can call, it has an email they can get back to you, it has your website they can go and look at. So all of that is underneath. So they could just go in and join up if they wanted to. But after you send that text, of course it's important to do the follow-up. So what did you like about the link that I sent you? Very important to do a follow-up if you're going to do business by text messages or by email. Don't just send one thinking that they're going to say, yippee, yep, I'm getting on board. You need to follow people up. Sometimes that could be 2 or 3 times. Live weekly webinars. Well, that's what we just experienced with Joanne. Now, this is amazing. This is something that I plug everyone into. New people, get them into these live weekly webinars. This is the most amazing tool. What I love about this, it's not just in English, it's in Chinese, it's in Cantonese, I'm not sure if it's in, I think it's actually Mandarin, excuse me. It's in Spanish. So you might not be able to speak the language, but if you know someone there, tell them to plug in. This is the beauty of this. This is why this is so fantastic, is because these weekly webinars allow us to reach people all over the world in all different countries. What's the golden nugget, And this is the golden nugget, duplication. This means everything. Your business will not grow unless you duplicate. And there is an art of duplication. I love the great leaders start off as great followers, because in the end, we all want to be a leader, turning other people into leaders. That's our goal. So how do we do that? It's all through duplication. Really, really important. That we learn. This is exactly the process that I have been through. First, I learned. Then I did what I was taught. Then I taught other people to do it, and then I repeat. So this is how it goes on. It goes on and on and on. So you can actually look at this 48 hours as your first 48 hours, then another 48 hours, then another 48 hours, and you teach people to do exactly the same thing. All the time, you're teaching people, you're plugging them in, you're teaching them to plug people in, you're teaching them to, about the people, about what they're going to come across. You're showing them how to do this. And this is what duplicates, because a good system will duplicate well. There's nothing better than the UGG system. It's duplication in its best form. You plug them in, you teach them, and this is how it goes on and on and on. And you'll find the beauty of this is that it just keeps on getting better and better, and the growth gets faster and faster. It's a snowball effect once you learn the art of duplication. So just quickly, I'm just going to show you a quick video. Now, I'm showing you this video because for me, it's like I want everyone to know that if there's ever been a doubt in you about who you are, your ability, or you've had someone steal your dreams, or have someone tell you that you can't do something, this video just might be something that will change you.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, "Wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward." Turned down by the Decca recording company, who said, "We don't like their sound, and guitar music is on the way out." A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. The teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died. He failed in business twice. He had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
So I just love that video because I think, you know, it's so true, you know, along the way, we will have failures. You know, things will happen. But all I can say is never, never quit. Because if you keep on searching and you keep on doing it, you're going to find those red apples. And then you're going to help them duplicate. This is what this is all about. So, you know, I love this saying, peel away all the things you had to be to get down to the core of what you were created to be. In your core are the seeds of greatness. I would really like to leave you with that today, because I just like you to know that, you know, anything is possible. You've got all the tools there. You can decide who you want in your business. You can qualify people, who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. Anything is possible. Just follow the system, keep plugged in. And I hope today you found that little bit in this training that might have given you a little bit more, what's the word, hope, a little bit more like, you know what, I can do this, because this is what this is all about. I'd just like you to be able to think, you know what, I can do this. I will come across some rotten apples, but there's some green apples out there that I can turn into some red apples. And there are lots and lots of red apples out there who are looking. Please believe me, there are a lot of people who want more out of life. So thank you so much for coming to this training and being in this training with me. I hope I've shared something with you that will help. So goodbye and thank you so much.
If you see something for yourself, get back to the person who shared this video with you. And don't forget to subscribe to the official USGS YouTube channel to receive future videos.